Hey folks, here in Midtown Manhattan, and I wanted to do kind of a political vocabulary video. I noticed that people walk around these days using political terms, not really knowing what they mean. A lot of political literature is written assuming that you know what words mean, when in a lot of cases people just don't know them. So I'm going to start out with what is a leftist? What is the concept of the political left? Well, leftism is the belief that there is historical progress, that history is marching forward and moving toward a more egalitarian society, a society with greater technology, greater material abundance, more freedom, that history is marching forward. History is like a train speeding forward. The first time the political connotations of left and right were used was after the French Revolution. And when they formed a national assembly of the people who were fighting against to remove the king, and eventually did topple the king, the French Revolution, those who were more sympathetic with feudalism and the king sat on the right. And those who wanted to, continue to march forward into a new society without feudalism and kings and monarchs, they sat on the left. The left are forces that seek to move in a direction of historical progress, create a society that's more egalitarian, a society with more material abundance, more freedom, and such. That's what the left is, and they contrast it with the right, those who seek to prop up the existing institutions or restore the past. That's the right. So the left and the right, that's the concept. The left being the concept, the folks who are associated with historical progress, the right being the folks that are associated with the past and holding up the existing order or trying to restore things from the past. So that's the left and the right. Now, on the left, you have different ideologies. Now, I'm going to go over them very quickly. On the left, you basically have social democrats, you have communists, and you have anarchists. On the left, the social democrats, these are forces that believe we're eventually moving toward a society that's more egalitarian and such, and that would mean that, overall, making the economy work for average people, providing people with jobs, education. But they view the transition toward a more socialistic society as a gradual process. And they really see it as what they would call the sum of reforms. One day we're going to have free health care. One day they're going to give women the right to vote. One day they're going to have public education. And gradually, one step at a time, eventually it'll all add up and we'll have socialism. That's kind of social democracy. It's building socialism one step at a time. And furthermore, they tend to believe that the Western countries are the most advanced. That's one of the principal beliefs of social democrats, is that the West is the closest and the most advanced and the most progressive forces in the world. They tend to believe that, France, Germany, the United States, Britain, countries like that are the most advanced in terms of building social progress, the most closest to the socialist ideal, and that they're more progressive than countries in the third world. And in some cases, you'll see social democrats actually supporting wars by the West against, third world countries, because they believe it'll help, bring them along by bringing them into this more advanced system. They tend to think that the West is advanced and the West is playing a good role in the world, helping the world advance. That's social democracy. Now, communists, on the other hand, communists tend to not see socialism as just one step at a time. They don't see it as the sum of reforms. Communists tend to see socialism as kind of an event horizon. There's a line. One day a society's capitalist, a revolution takes place, and then it becomes a socialist society. And they don't see capitalism and so they don't see socialism just gradually, one step at a time, emerging from capitalism. Rather, they see there being a very clear line between the two of them. And furthermore, communists tend to think that the West is playing a negative role around the world. Communists tend to believe that the West is holding back historical progress in third world countries. They tend to think that the West is what they would call imperialist, or where, the monopolies and the big corporations of the West are keeping countries around the world in a state of underdevelopment. So that's communists. Now, anarchists, that's the third ideology. Anarchists tend to believe that the kind of egalitarian society that needs to be created should be created without any coercion. They don't believe that you should have, people forcing anyone to do anything else. They don't want state activity. They don't want people running for office. They don't want people trying to take control of the government. Rather, they view it as, people building cooperatives and just kind of doing their own thing, and that the society that we're striving for will just kind of emerge as people kind of take voluntary action and are not engaged in coercion. And furthermore, they tend to, kind of idealize a society in which there wouldn't be coercion even after some kind of revolution. Anarchism is the idea that you can't use state coercion to carry things out, and that the egalitarian society they seek will just kind of emerge as people push for it. They're not for kind of a cooperative or a coordinated organization. They're for, just kind of loosely doing things and just kind of gradually loosening the restraints on society. So those are the three ideologies. And basically all of them are striving for the same thing, a world where people have what they need, and there's not a need for state coercion, and there's a material abundance. Social democrats see it gradually coming one step at a time and emerging from the existing order in Western countries. Communists tend to think that there needs to be a revolution, and that all of this needs to be established, and that the West is playing a negative role in holding back development around the world. Anarchists tend to, favor no coercion, and think that, it's going to be non-state action that will move things in that direction. But those are the three ideologies. A lot of confusion, and a lot of people that even go around adhering to these ideologies don't quite understand it. That's why I wanted to make this video. That's what leftism is. Those are the three ideologies you find on the left.